Kindness is one of the most admired traits in the world, and one of the most dangerous. People will praise you for being soft, patient, understanding, forgiving, generous. They will call you pure, mature, rare. But what they will never tell you is this: the moment your kindness loses boundaries, it stops being a virtue and starts becoming an invitation for disrespect, for manipulation, for emotional exploitation. The truth is brutal. Most people do not test your anger first. They test your tolerance. They watch what you allow, what you forgive, what you excuse, and how many times you stay after being hurt. And if you're too kind for too long, you don't become loved. You become usable. This is the dark side of being too kind. And by the end of this video, you may never look at your good heart the same way again. The first dark truth is this: too much kindness teaches people how to treat you. Most people think kindness automatically earns respect. It doesn't. Not when it comes without structure. If you keep saying yes when you want to say no, if you keep understanding people who never understand you, if you keep giving chances where consequences should exist, you are not creating peace. You are training people. Every time you tolerate what should have cost them access, you silently tell them, "You can do this again." That is how emotional patterns are built, not through one big betrayal, but through repeated small permissions. And the scariest part, the people using you often don't even feel guilty anymore, because your kindness made their behavior feel normal. Be honest, have you ever stayed silent just to keep the peace, even when it cost you your self-respect? Comment real if that hit too close. The second dark truth is that kind people often become emotional shelters for emotionally selfish people. You listen, you understand, you forgive, you make space, you absorb chaos, and slowly, without noticing, you become the person others run to when they need comfort, but disappear from when you need the same. This is one of the most painful psychological traps in human relationships, because it creates the illusion of importance. You feel needed, so you mistake it for being valued. But being needed is not the same as being respected. Many people don't stay because they love your presence. They stay because your softness makes their life easier. You become their emotional emergency exit, their guilt remover, their safe place. But when your pain arrives, suddenly they're busy, suddenly they're confused, suddenly your loyalty becomes invisible. That's not connection. That's extraction. The third dark truth is even more dangerous. Too much kindness destroys your unpredictability, and predictable people are easy to control. If everyone knows you'll forgive, they'll risk hurting you. If everyone knows you'll stay, they'll risk losing you. If everyone knows you'll understand, they'll stop explaining themselves. This is where kindness turns into weakness in the eyes of others. Not because kindness is weak, but because certainty of access kills tension. Human beings naturally become careless with what feels permanently available. That's why the kindest person in the room is often the most emotionally exhausted. They are always there, always reachable, always open, always absorbent. But the moment people believe they can never truly lose you, your value begins to drop in their mind. And this is where most kind people break, because they give everything and still wonder why they feel invisible. The fourth dark truth is that being too kind can make you lie to yourself. You tell yourself you're being mature, when really you're afraid of conflict. You tell yourself you're being patient, when really you're afraid of abandonment. You tell yourself you're forgiving, when really you're terrified of being alone. This is the brutal psychological layer nobody wants to admit. Sometimes kindness is not compassion. Sometimes it is fear wearing a beautiful mask. And that's why this topic cuts so deep. Because for many people, their good heart is secretly built on anxiety, guilt, people-pleasing, and emotional survival. If that makes you uncomfortable, good. It should. Because the next truth is the one that separates genuine kindness from self-destruction. And most people never realize it until they've already been used too many times. The fifth dark truth is simple. People respect boundaries more than they respect generosity. You can give your time, your love, your patience, your loyalty, your energy, and still be overlooked. But the moment you say no more, the entire dynamic changes. Why? Because boundaries create consequence, and consequence creates psychological clarity. When people know your kindness has limits, they move differently around you. They become more careful, more intentional, more honest, not because they suddenly became better people, but because your behavior finally made disrespect expensive. This is why mentally strong people are kind, but never endlessly accessible. They help, but they observe. They care, but they measure. They forgive, but they do not forget patterns. Kindness without boundaries feels warm. Kindness with boundaries feels powerful. And power is what stops people from confusing your softness with weakness. The sixth dark truth is that the world often rewards what it cannot easily control. This is why the overly kind person is frequently admired in public and quietly exploited in private. People love those who make life easier for them. They celebrate your loyalty, your patience, your understanding, as long as it benefits them. But the second your kindness becomes selective, the second you stop overgiving, the second you stop carrying emotional weight that was never yours, some people will call you cold, changed, difficult, arrogant. And that right there is the reveal. Because the people who punish your boundaries were never in love with your heart. They were in love with your access. Read that again in your mind. Some people never loved your kindness. They loved how much it cost you. If you've ever set one healthy boundary and instantly watched someone change their attitude, comment facts. That pattern exposes everything. And the darkest truth of all is this: if you are too kind for too long, you begin to betray yourself before anyone else betrays you. You ignore your instincts. You silence your anger. You downplay disrespect. You explain away patterns. You give one more chance, then one more, then one more, until one day you look in the mirror and realize the person who has suffered most from your kindness is you. That's the real tragedy. Not that bad people took advantage. Bad people do what bad people do. The tragedy is that you kept volunteering your peace to protect people who never protected yours. And once you see that clearly, your entire life changes. Because now you stop asking, how can I be kinder? And you start asking the real question, who has actually earned access to my kindness? That question alone can save years of your life. So, what should you do? Don't become cold. Don't become bitter. Don't become cruel. That's not power. That's damage. Instead, become selective. Become observant. Become disciplined with your energy. Let your kindness remain, but make it earned. Let your heart stay soft, but let your standards become sharp. The goal is not to stop loving people. The goal is to stop bleeding for people who feel entitled to your love. Real kindness is not endless sacrifice. Real kindness is wisdom with warmth. It knows when to give and when to close the door. If this video made you uncomfortable, that's a good sign. It means you're starting to see the difference between being genuinely kind and being unconsciously available for exploitation. So now I want the truth. What cost you more in life, being too kind, or realizing too late that not everyone deserved it? Drop your answer in the comments. And if you felt this in your chest, subscribe right now, because the next video will expose the silent signs that someone is only keeping you around because your loyalty makes them feel powerful. Miss that one, and you may keep calling it love while someone else keeps calling it convenience.